Welcome, everybody, to Interviews. I'm your host, Dr. Haig John, and I have Simon Senzon with us today, and I'm very excited to have him on our show. And we're gonna, talk about chiropractic, philosophy, history, life, whatever comes up. So, welcome, Simon Senzon. Thank you for being a guest.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks so much for having me. This is great. Really a cool book.
Absolutely. And, that's where talking about our history is so important because, we talk about DD and BJ, but there are so many pioneers and amazing people that paved the path for us to where we are right now, just like you're talking about from Harper and from Drain. I mean, those are names that we should be spoken so much more in
Yeah.
chiropractic conversations.
Yeah, and that's why I did those started those classics. The other main one I did was the Ratledge books. So Drain, I actually was in touch with his granddaughter, and she sent me a box of materials. And in that were original manuscripts, his copy of the book that he had signed to his son, a whole photograph, like a whole photo album. So I was able to scan a lot of that and put that into the second book that I created. Um, and then the other book was Routledge's books, which his student, Paul Smalley, published back in the 70s, mostly the 70s, the 80s. So I got in touch with Smalley's son and got permission to republish some of those. So I've done a couple of those books too, Routledge Philosophy 1. And Routledge was a contemporary of D.D. Palmer. When
Mm-hmm.
Dee got out of prison for practicing medicine without a license in 1906, he spent 23 days in jail, and then he moved to Oklahoma. He signed over the school to BJ. They split the assets. He moved to Oklahoma, and that's when he met Ratledge, who had just gotten his degree from Carver, who was Didi's lawyer, who actually learned chiropractic from another of Didi's students. So he was already a third generation chiropractor,
Yeah.
but he and Didi and their wives would go out to dinner when Didi was in Oklahoma, Ratledge, and they would just hang out and
Wow.
you know become friends. And then Routledge opened a school in Southern California.
Mm-hmm.
And when D.D. Palmer moved down there right after he published his 1910 book, he taught at Routledge's school. I think those last lectures that he had, which is his book, The Chiropractor, is about 21 lectures. We think those were his lectures that he taught at Routledge's school.
Mm-hmm.
I think of Routledge as like the last of his students.
That's such important stuff. I'm sitting here taking notes like I'm in class. I've got notes of what we're talking about. Like, oh, 1906, he was in jail. I was wondering what that date was.
Okay.
So, that's where getting to the, we have, thousands of listeners and, people that tune in from around the world, chiropractors from around the world for our Synapse Philosophy podcast. And, and this one as well. So students getting into our green books, absolutely important, but also getting into these, I don't want to call them obscure books because they should really be, on the shelf with green books. We are about to transition. We're at page, I'm ready to, we have our podcast is tonight, 495 in the 1910 book right now. And it's,
You're getting there.
very few people have gotten, yeah, it's chipping away at it, chipping away at it.
Right.
It's very few people have gotten this far. Thank you very much, Simon Senzon. And hey, I had a blast hanging out with you, and I can't wait to see these new books and read some more of the old ones.
Yeah, man. Happy to be here. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.